morning, everyone. It is time for us to, of course, have some fun and feel like springtime. It is Let's Grow Together with Roar's Nursery and Garden Center. And of course, with us this morning, first of all, we have in studio with me, Ms. Rachel Fender. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm great. And also, we have with us on the phone line, we have Mr. Matt Workner. Hi, Matt.
Good morning, Pam.
So we promised the listeners last week that we would do some myth busting today.
Yes. Yeah.
Are you ready to be a myth buster, Matt?
Yes, I am.
Good.
Yeah. I thought there was going to be, I can think of a few, but after a while I was like, wow, I
There's a lot.
do a lot. Yeah.
I know. A lot out there. All right. So if you have something that you want to ask, please give us a call, 330-450-1480. We'd love to hear from you. Just throw it out there and say, hey,
Yeah.
can I put those eggshells in my house plants? I mean, people ask all kinds of questions. Or you can email one to me and I'll ask it for you if you want me to do that. pcook@whbc.com. We're live on Facebook, live on our YouTube channel, and of course here on the radio. So, all right, Rachel, why don't you start with the one that you found?
Okay. Well, we could lead in with the eggshells too.
Okay.
'cause
all right.
that-
there. I
that's
just
a
threw
good
that
thing.
out there.
So,
Yeah.
like eggshells, coffee grounds, banana peels, that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
They are really good for your soil, but it's better to have them break down first, like become a compost.
Okay.
You can put it in there. It just with eggshells you can put down in there, and they will add a little bit of calcium and that kind of stuff as they break down. So, but like coffee grounds, that kind of thing, you kind of want to, if you want to put it in the garden, you want to make sure it's away from plants. You don't want to put it like up against anything; it could burn, that kind of
Okay.
stuff. So it's better, more better for this. More better.
Better.
It's better. It's better for the soil. It's gonna make more amendments to your
Mhm,
soil and
mhm.
break it down better. So
Yeah.
so it is a good thing for your garden and stuff, but it's better to have it break down into a compost.
Can you,
if
while
that
we're
makes sense.
on that subject, can you put too much compost in gardens or things like that?
You
think?
can. It does depend. Like some of the bagged compost, like sweet peat, you can use directly. You can plant right in that. Like a home compost and that kind of thing, and manure. You want to kind of mix it in because it can burn.
Okay.
So, and you can always have it tested. Like if you do compost, you can have it tested to kind of see how acidic it is and that kind of thing. But it is best to kind of mix it into your soil because it is going to enrich that soil as well. And over time, it's going to just create better soil.
Okay.
So,
And certain plants are going to prefer more
yes.
soil amendments than others, like rhododendrons, azaleas. They're big leafy evergreens, and they really like at least a 50-50 mixture usually.
Okay.
Some of the other plants can be in the 25 to 30% range, and that's more than enough for the deciduous material.
All right. One that I found, Matt, and this might be for you to answer, is that the myth is that lime will remove moss from your lawn.
Yeah. It's usually a soil compaction problem and a sunlight problem. It's an environmental problem that causes the moss to grow so aggressively in the yards. You can use acidity to kill lime. A lot of the stuff, it's like the granular lime killers. They're acid based. So sometimes if the yard sometimes if the yard is too acidic, it causes the moss to grow. So you can use lime to bring down the pH, because the pH, or bring up the pH. It'll allow it'll prevent the moss from having a good environment to grow in. So again, we're really more affecting the environment, but the compacted soil is the number one reason it grows. So core aeration in the fall is a really important thing you can do to help keep that soil open and loose, especially if you're mulching your grass. A lot of people bag grass. If you're bagging it and removing it, there's less organic down there breaking down. The more times you run your mower over, we're creatures of habit, so we always run our mowers the same direction in the yard, and so we're over compacting the area where those tires are running over and over and over again.
Okay, got it.
But that kind of brings me into one I was going to bring up, was lichen. We get a lot of times people bring in branches and stuff, and they see it looks like a moss or kind of like a little fungus. There's a lot of different species of lichen out there. They are not bad. They are not a bad thing. They're actually like a example of symbiosis, which they're a mixture of fungi and algae. So really, when you see them present, they pretty much means you have good airflow and good environment. So, because
Okay.
they don't really do well in like polluted areas, that kind of
So
stuff.
it looks like moss and people think it is.
Yes, and you see it a lot on on dead branches
Mhm.
and material. A lot of times they do break down material. Like, so
Okay.
when you do have a dead branch or something, it's going to be on there because it's helping it break down. So
Gotcha.
a lot of people think, oh my gosh, is this killing my tree? It's not. It's just hanging out on there, and it's kind of like a little air filter. So
Lichen. It's spelled
Lichen.
Lyken.
it's Lichen.
Oh, Lichen.
Yes.
Yes.
So
I
there's
should have known that.
there's like a whole lichen society and all kinds of different things. So it's kind of like a little moss, and it looks like a moss kind
Okay.
of. But a lot of people think it's doing some damage, but it is not doing anything. It's just kind of hanging out there. But it does break down the material, so it is a good thing.
Matt.
As of right now, I haven't heard of any liquid chemicals or anything you can put on it because it's not technically detrimental to the plant.
Yeah.
And so the chemical companies haven't spent the millions of dollars in research it takes to create a chemical to get rid of something when it's not technically hurting the plant. It's just more of an environmental thing. It's an aesthetic issue more than a plant growing issue.
Gotcha.
Yeah, some people find it unsightly. I like it. So
There you go. See, everybody's different.
Yep.
All right. What about this Epsom salts?
Mhm.
Because we know that's magnesium, right?
Mhm.
Correct.
They say putting it in like your tomatoes and it'll make tomatoes thrive. Or I mean, what do you do with Epsom salts?
I
Is
don't.
it
I don't know if
I soak my
thrive-
feet in Epsom
I
salts.
soak exactly. I do know it helps with yellowing and a lot of like a lot of people used to put them on geraniums or put it in geraniums because it would help uptake the iron.
Oh, okay.
That kind of thing. But I mean, really, it's kind of more of an old school kind of thing. I personally don't know how well it actually works. I don't know if it's a.
Mhm.
I don't
Well,
know.
and you have to be careful because it's
Mhm.
a salt product. So if you add too much, the salt can actually hurt the plant. So it's one of those things. If you use it, you want to use it in the right quantities. And if we talk about our granular fertilizer, the Aurora's all-season fertilizer, all of the time, and it's because it's got magnesium and manganese and some of these other ingredients that allows the plant to uptake the iron. You can have iron present in the soil, in your compost, and the plant won't absorb it if the micronutrients aren't there. And so it addresses more of a micronutrient problem than an actual nitrogen, phosphorus, or potash, which are the three main numbers in all fertilizers.
Yeah, and I think like fertilizers have come a long way, and I think they've realized, manufacturing them, they're a lot more complex than they used to
Mhm.
be. So
Yeah.
like the old school methods and stuff, I think. I mean, not that they don't work or anything, but I don't know if they're as necessary as they used to be. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Well, and
So-
the fertilizers, like she's saying, the technology has come
Yeah.
a long ways. The 12-12-12 that people used to put on their gardens and their yards,
That was it.
it's a very quick release fertilizer. It's there, it does its job, and the nitrogen part of that fertilizer mix is generally gone in 7 to 10 days. Where the nitrogen in our fertilizer, the coated Roars fertilizer, it can last for up to 6 months. So it does the same thing, but it does it in a totally different manner. It's like an IV for the plants. You're feeding them nutrients they need for a very long period of time instead of just a quick shot.
All right, we're going to take our first break. When we come back, we have more myths to bust. So if you would like to give us a call, you can, 330-450-1480. And you can send emails to pcook@whbc.com. It is Let's Grow Together with Roars Nursery and Garden Center.
Hey, wouldn't a pile of cash warm you up? I know it would warm me up. You have a chance to win $1,000 in our Winter Cash Warm Up Contest.
Are you serious?
Go to WHBC.com and enter daily for your chance to win. Now through February 22nd. Real hard cash.
Oh, no way.
To warm up your bank account at WHBC.com.
Tune in each Saturday morning at 8 a.m. for the Money Matters radio show
Find out how today's economy, debt levels, and policies affect your hard-earned money. You've made your money. Now it's time to watch it grow. Tune in to the hour-long Money Matters radio show every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. right here on News Talk 1480 WHBC. To speak to Bob Fowdy or Dave Ryan about your money matters, call New Horizon Financial Group in Canton at 330-499-1915. 330-499-1915.
Hi, it's Angie Rohr with Rohr's Nursery. Spring feels like it's so far away, but at Rohr's, we're getting ready for it. Why not get an early start on spring yourself and call now to schedule your appointment with one of our experts to brighten up your landscape. Visit us at Rohr's Nursery on Everhard Road, Rohr's Nursery on Portage Street, or rohrsnursery.com.
Rohr's Nursery, we want to be your number one nursery. Rohr's Nursery, we want to be your number one nursery.
And now, Public Education Matters with Ohio Education Association President Jeff Wensing.
Black history is American history. And when we have honest, age-appropriate conversations with our students about our history, the good and the bad, we can pave the way to make a better future for all of us. This Black History Month, let's come together and stand up for our students' freedom to learn.
Public Education Matters, brought to you by the Ohio Education Association.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text HOT to 215215 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text HOT to 215215. That's HOT to 215215. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
At Advent, we help sleep apnea sufferers avoid the CPAP machine by getting your nose and throat working with our unique Advent approach that you won't find elsewhere.
All right, welcome back. It is Let's Grow Together with Rohr's Nursery and Garden Center, our weekly call-in show. And today we're having a lot of fun busting myths, or at least trying to. Yes. Giving you a little bit of explanation. Rachel and Matt are here, and we're kind of, talking about things. If you want to give us a call, please do. 330-450-1480. We're live on Facebook, live on YouTube, so we'd love to hear from you. Matt?
I've got one for you.
Okay, go.
So, organic is safer. So we get this a lot of times. People come in, they're like, "Oh, I want an organic option." And one of my first questions is, "Why do you want something organic?" And they're like, "Oh, because it's safer." I'm like, "Okay, arsenic's organic."
Yeah,
that's
organic.
That's safe. So there's this misnomer and this advertising and marketing that's been done on organic products that make it safer. No, it's not safer. It's just organic.
Yeah.
There are actually some dangers with organic material, like we carry a product line called Espoma, and it's a good fertilizer. And if you're growing vegetables or something you're going to eat, blueberries, raspberries, and you're going to consume the food, I see why a lot of people want to stay organic on what they're growing to put in their bodies. And I get that. But you still need to be careful with that fertilizer. You can use that fertilizer in April, May, early June with no issues. If you use that same fertilizer in July and August, when we're really hot and really humid, that fertilizer can release, it's temperature controlled on its release, so it can release faster and actually damage the plant material by burning it and releasing too quickly. So organic is okay. It has its place, it has its purpose, but it needs to be used the right way to make sure that you're getting the best value and benefit from it, and then it's not going to harm the plants.
Yes.
Yeah. It's not automatically safe just because it's organic.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
And same with I've heard a lot of people say that organic is, like, as far as pesticides and stuff, is less effective. And that's not necessarily the case. With like weed killers and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's really nothing that's going to be like for your grass. Most organic weed killers are pretty across the board. Like, they're going to kill everything.
Mm-hmm.
So like the vinegar and salt
Yeah.
trick, which is that's personally, that's all I use.
Mhm.
So but it's not selective. Like, it'll take out anything. So
And does
so
it
you have to
take
be
longer?
careful. It depends. I mean, it does. Certain weeds,
Mm.
it does, but I mean, just like with anything too, like a lot of times Roundup, it takes a couple applications to get with
Right.
certain, like,
Right.
tap-rooted, like dandelions and that kind of stuff.
Thistles, things like that.
Yes,
So
yeah, but
it's going to take more than one application.
yeah, and if you do want to do organic in your yard, you have to understand it's not going to look like a golf course.
Mm.
You have to take the good with the bad with the lawn. I mean, the weeds are going to be kind of an issue there, and you just embrace it
So
if you want to go.
We talk about this product all the time. It's called Preen, and it's a
Mhm.
that we'll have people sprinkle down here in their flower beds before they do their mulching here in the next few months. Now, that product is super effective. It kills seeds as they germinate. It does not hurt actively growing plants whatsoever. There is an organic version of that is basically corn-based. The problem with it is it takes about 3 years to start to be effective. So you're going to have to commit to that organic and hand pull weeds out of those beds for 3 years before you're going to start to see the results of using the organic weed preventator. So most people, once they find out, and the cost is generally greater as well.
It is.
Once they find out all of the restrictions to make organic do what it's supposed to do, they don't have the patience to wait that long. And so then we put them back into a standard chemical that's going to do the job
And
first year, the first time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Preen's very non-invasive, and
Yeah.
it's very, like, I don't know, it doesn't seem caustic to me.
Mhm.
So
Toxic,
It's
yeah.
Toxic,
less
yeah.
caustic.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
There's ways to go about it, and I think it's come a long way as far as organics and that kind of thing. So
All right. Here's one, Matt. Topping off trees helps them grow.
okay, so that's a loaded question.
Yes,
right?
it is.
It will promote interior growth. When you cut the top of a tree off, you have to be careful when if you cut the top of the tree off, you can create what's called a witch's broom, where you're cutting the main leader off, and so then the plant turns into a bush on a stick, and it's not structurally sound for that tree. I went to a pruning seminar a few years ago put on by Ohio State University, and part of the class was we did some in-class work, and then we actually went out with some tree trimmers and harnesses and pole pruners, and we actually pruned trees in the arboretum. And it was interesting to see how, like, we'll look at a tree. If there's two main leaders, we want to shorten one of the leaders and let one leader be dominant on most trees, especially shade trees. You want to have a single leader be dominant, and you never want to prune off more than 15 to 20% of that tree maximum in a single season. So sometimes if a tree hasn't been cared for properly, or if it's been wrongly pruned, it can take multiple seasons of pruning to get it back to where it should be without hurting that tree by pruning too much in any single year.
All right. And while we're talking about trees, because people, when you're planting trees, sometimes you're very, you're nervous. You want to make sure everything's done right. This is a statement. All newly planted trees require staking.
So it depends again on the tree.
Mm-hmm.
So like we have some bald and burlap trees. That means they're grown out in the field. They actually have a cage and burlap on the bottom, and they're generally very heavy. And so when you plant them, they generally stay put. Now, if you're on top of a hill in a wind tunnel, that tree can lean after the wind blows on it for a long period of time. And then that tree is going to grow crooked if it's in the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So We do stake, I would say probably 95% of what we plant to make sure that tree gets started. Now, the next question is, how long do you leave the stake on?
Yeah.
About a year to 18 months. And again, certain trees root in extremely fast. You could probably pull it off in 6 months, but we generally say after the first year, the tree should be well enough rooted, the wind's not going to move it around anymore. The root system has taken a hold in that new soil, and you should be safe to pull that stake off. There are a few exceptions to that rule, and that's why when you're at the nursery and we're working with you and we're getting you the stuff you need to take it home and do it yourself, if it's something we're not doing, we give all that information out to the customers when they're purchasing the product.
Okay. Yeah, and I think that's a good point because people, really, if you're looking at some new trees, you see people stake them, and I would have no idea. That would be something I would have no idea about. All right. What about adding sand? Does that improve clay soil?
No. It will improve drainage, but clay soil needs to be amended with a compost and better soil. Clay soil, nothing is going to grow in clay.
Right.
It needs to be taken care of, and no amount of fertilizer is going to
Seems
make
like
things grow in clay.
If you put sand in clay, it would be like cement.
Yeah, you're making some sort of a concrete or something. Yeah,
yes.
so you need to amend that with a compost.
Okay.
And really, if it's really bad,
You can mix sand in with your compost because that helps with drainage. The
definitely.
last one is to have so when you dig a hole in the ground and it's clay, a lot of times when you water it, the water just lays there. You almost created like a bowl.
Yes.
Inside the ground. Adding clay and digging the hole, if you're dealing with clay soil, digging the hole a little deeper, amending the soil underneath the root system is a good idea because that's going to allow the excess water to drain away from the roots itself and allow the roots to establish in that soil better that way.
Yeah, that's a big thing. We get a lot, people, there's a lot of clay around here. So,
There is a lot.
Yeah.
I had clay when I was just trying to plant 2 little flowers in the ground. I was like, oh my gosh. First you break an arm doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of like older areas have a lot of better soil, like newer areas and a lot of new developments and stuff that use kind of a backfill soil, and it's kind of no nutrients.
Well, one of the ways the developers save money is when they first buy a property, they'll grade off all the topsoil and sell it. It's how they recoup some of their money in the beginning stages of creating the allotment. Well, all that topsoil left, so sometimes it can add significant costs if the developer did that, and you have to go put in a 2-acre yard when there's no topsoil left, so that grass isn't going to really want to come in good. And so some people are sometimes surprised in our quotes because we're looking at that depth of that soil. If there's an inch of topsoil, it's not going to grow grass well. You need 3-4 inches of decent topsoil to produce a good grass and a good root system for that grass to survive the droughts, the extreme colds in the winter time. And so a lot of times in our quotes, we have 10, 15, 20 tons of topsoil. And that's because we know that was removed from that property. It has to be added back to it for the plants to have success.
All right. Well, we'll take our break. But again, myth busting today here on Let's Grow Together with Rohr's Nursery and Garden Center. If you have something you want to ask us about, please do at 330-450-1480 or send me an email at pcook@whbc.com.
Hi, it's Angie Rohr with Rohr's Nursery. Spring feels like it's so far away, but at Rohr's, we're getting ready for it. Why not get an early start on spring yourself and call now to schedule your appointment with one of our experts to brighten up your landscape. Visit us at Rohr's Nursery on Everhard Road, Rohr's Nursery on Portage Street, or rohrsnursery.com.
Rohr's Nursery, we want to be your #1 nursery. Rohr's Nursery, we want to be your #1 nursery.
Medicine Center pharmacies have been serving our local community for over 40 years. Our customers know they can count on our pharmacy staff, save money, and trust us. Stop by any of our Medicine Center pharmacy locations in Canton, Louisville, Minerva, and New Philadelphia, or visit us online at medshoprx.com.
Altman Health System has been caring for our community for over 130 years. This includes 24/7 emergency services, heart care, surgery, orthopedics, cancer care, and more. Altman Health System. Today, tomorrow, and always. We're here for you. Altman Health System has been caring for our community for over 130 years. This includes 24/7 emergency services, heart care, surgery, orthopedics, cancer care, and more. Altman Health System. Today, tomorrow, and always. We're here for you.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
Dry skin, cloudy glasses, and bad tasting water this winter? It could be hard water. Call Burndale Water Experts for a solution that fits your home. Visit burndalewater.com today.
Burndale's Water Center.
WHBC AM Kent, reliable as ever on News Talk 1480 WHBC.
From the News Talk 1480 WHBC newsroom, Ohio lawmakers are looking into the impacts of data centers in our state. House Bill 646 will create a 13-member commission. The research tool Data Center Map finds there are about 200 data centers operating statewide, with more than half in central Ohio alone. The commission would look at a range of issues related to those centers, like environmental impacts, effects on electrical grids, and more. Lawmakers expect that bill to have its first hearing soon in the House Technology and Innovation Committee. One day after Tyler Thomas appeared in federal court on charges related to the disappearance of an Indiana teen, Haley Busby, his Columbus home was searched by the FBI. Busby was reported missing from her home in Fishers, Indiana, back on January 6th. Criminal officials say that the Thomas went to Indiana on the morning of January 5th and picked her up. Court document says Thomas returned to Columbus on the 6th. James Vanderbeek has died at the age of 48 after battling stage 3 colorectal cancer. His wife Kimberly says he faced his final days with courage, faith, and grace. He was best known for Dawson's Creek, Scary Movie, Varsity Blues, How I Met Your Mother, and One Tree Hill. In sports, the Cleveland Cavaliers beat the Washington Wizards 138-113 last night. Cavs are off until next Thursday now for the All-Star break. I'm Pam Cook.
Your severe weather station, News Talk 1480 WHBC.
Here's your AccuWeather forecast. Today will be cloudy and cold with a flurry reaching a high of 28. Tonight, expect low clouds with a low of 19. Tomorrow will not be as cold with increasing amounts of sunshine and a high of 35. Tomorrow night will be mainly clear with a low of 29. Moving into Saturday, expect mostly sunny skies with a high of 47. Saturday night will be partly cloudy with a low of 32. With the AccuWeather forecast, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg for News Talk 1480 WHBC.
And welcome back to Let's Grow Together with Roar's Nursery and Garden Center, our weekly call-in show. And again, Matt and Rachel are here. We've been busting myths and talking about things that people wonder, can I do that? Does that work? Is that something good? And I will say, we talked about lichen.
Yes.
Lichen earlier. And Mary wrote in, she sent me an email. She says, I understand that lichen on plants or trees is not harmful, but does that also apply to a wooden deck? Is it breaking down that wood?
The fact that it's present tells me that it probably, it's not breaking it down necessarily, but the deck should probably be cleaned. I think the fact that it's there, it's finding natural material to eat, and yes, and beyond. So,
okay.
Don't you think so, Matt?
I would recommend if
Cleaning.
it's on a deck, cleaning it off the deck.
Yeah.
There are some cleaners that have prevented it from allowing the plant or the lichen to regrow. A lot of times on the decks, you're going to see a sooty mold. There's some other things that can happen on decks too that could be misunderstood as a lichen. But if they are on the deck, and we do see it more often on plants that grow slowly, because a fast-growing plant, as the trunk and the branches grow in diameter, they'll shed that lichen off. And the lichen only grows when the environment's right for it to grow. So it's a lot of times high humidity situations. We'll see a lot more lichen in those situations than a good air movement, low humidity situations.
And I was also asking Rachel off the air, how do you tell the difference between lichen and moss? How do you tell the difference?
It really, I mean, I
can't
think it's
really-
more
it's
of a
hard.
scientific thing. Like, I mean, I can tell, but I mean, as far as, just to the general eye, because they do kind of look similar. I mean, they really do. But I think
Yeah.
more of it's like a spore kind of thing.
Moss is going to have a
it's-
soft texture.
Mhm.
It's going to be a little bit more rigid in its growing. And once you see it and see, like she said, there's a lot of different kinds. I've seen yellow lichen, I've seen green lichen, I've seen like a grayish blue lichen.
Yeah.
Grow in a lot of different ways. But anytime you're not sure, snap a picture with the iPad or your cell phone, bring it into the nursery, let us take a look at it, and we can help you with whatever issue you might be having. And if you need to use a product, we should be able to point you in the right direction there, what you could use to fix the problem.
Yeah, and one real fun fact about lichen, that's one of hummingbirds' favorite nesting materials. So they like to use it.
There
It's
you
nice and
go.
soft.
Okay, so I got an email
They're
from.
liking it.
They're
They're like,
oh, you've been waiting for like an hour to say that, haven't you?
That in there.
Thank you. Thank you very much. He's here all hour. All right. So I got an email from Bill. Bill says, we've been under a snow cover for quite some time this winter. Does this pose a problem for our lawns and ground plants come spring? Should we do anything special this spring?
So where the snow is sitting out in the yard, where it's not compacted, where you haven't been driving on it, there shouldn't be any issue with the plant material in those areas. It could potentially cause a problem if you fertilized your yard really late in the year. There's something occasionally we'll see when the snow melts away called snow mold, where mold will actually grow underneath the snow as that fertilizer is releasing. It helps feed it. Again, that's something that as soon as the environment changes, there's good air movement, that generally goes away on its own. It's an environmental thing. It just happens when the environment's perfect to allow it to happen. The rest of the things, the snow should have actually helped.
Yeah.
It shouldn't hurt anything. It should be a positive thing.
All right. That's good. Good to know. All right. So here's a myth, maybe, or maybe not. It's good to talk to your plants or play music for them.
I have heard that there is a lot of truth to that. I personally have never really tried or experimented, but I mean, I can understand, the vibrations and that kind of thing. And I've actually have heard that there's, a new study that's why birds sing in the morning is to help open the stomata of the plants.
Yes, the stomata. What is the
yes.
stomata? Do we know what stomata means?
So it's basically like the leaf, the leaf cells that
Okay.
open up and that will absorb the sunlight and what helps create
Nutrients and-
photosynthesis and yes,
Gotcha.
and the nutrients and all that.
So, Matt, do you talk to your trees out there in the?
Yeah. Some days they listen to heavy rock. Some days
Yeah.
depends on the day.
It's the ones with the long leaves that like the heavy rock, right?
The weeping willows. And, I love it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
But yeah, I do think on Mythbusters, the show, they did a thing with that. And I think that, there is proof to that. I have seen
music,
and
yeah.
Yeah, a lot of stuff like that is kind of fun because you're not really sure. And that's
Yeah,
that's
so why
kind of one
not?
of the things I love about working in the industry is because we are still always learning and stuff. Like I have been trying, like there's this with electroculture and putting copper rods into your garden, and that's supposed to help with insects and help bring down like the ions and
Okay.
generate better root growth and that kind of thing. I'd like to believe that it's true. I don't really know. I've been kind of playing around with it. I haven't
Yeah.
seen much difference, but
Well,
kinda
hey, it's
fun.
fun to try. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, playing the music.
Yeah.
They say, like you said, it opens leaf stomata for better nutrient absorption and the sound vibrations. Obviously they say, plants and flowers don't have ears, but the sound vibration is what can stimulate cell metabolism.
Yeah.
Sing to your plants.
Yeah.
Sing to your plants.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And you know what? If it's not helping the plants, it's helping you. It's
Listen to
therapeutic.
She is just right with it. You are so good. That's awesome, girl. I love it. Okay, we're gonna head to the phones here. Al is on. Al is on line 1. He is. Are you here?
Okay.
I think I lost Matt though. I think we lost Matt. Yeah, because I didn't put Matt on hold first, and then yeah, I know. Sorry, Matt. Call back if you're out there. Anyway, go ahead, Al. What were you gonna say?
You you guys got great topics. So let's talk the garden for a minute and compost.
Yeah.
So first of all, do you guys sell compost by the truckload? I don't think I've ever asked that. Do you guys sell compost like you get like yards of it?
No, we do.
No.
No, we do not. And I wish we did because we do get a lot of people that ask that. I'm not sure. I know that there are places, I think Earth and Wood does Sweet Peat by bulk. And then there's a place in Dundee, Bull Country Compost. That's one of my favorite compost
Can't do
companies.
two over here. I'm going to tell Nick right now, just kind of, let's put Matt,
I'm here.
Yep, you're here, but Al
Did we
is
lose
not
Al?
here.
Oh.
We lost Al. Yeah, you can't do two over here. Like you have to do one there. So that's what we'll see if we can get
Yeah,
Al.
but
Al, call
Al,
back. Please
yeah.
call back. Because I know it sounded
Yeah.
like Al had a whole bunch in his
Nope,
mind.
I think.
Okay,
he's calling
so
back.
I'm Matt. I'm gonna hang up on you and have
Uh-huh.
you call back. Okay, and we'll
Okay,
answer
that
you.
works.
We'll answer you on the other phone.
We'll get this.
All right.
Sounds good.
Okay, we will get
Bye-bye.
this. Okay, bye. Stop. Okay. All right, Al. Sorry about that. We're just trying to arrange.
Okay.
We're gonna get Matt. Go ahead. Keep
So
going.
did you
Did you hear her answer?
Yes, that you didn't sell. So, I've talked about this before. You got to get that nutrients back into your soil.
Absolutely.
So, Rachel, what's your take on this? I'm one of these where if you put bags and bags of manure in your garden, between the rows, it's wasted as far as I'm concerned. Now, or tell me I'm wrong when I think that way. Because now you got your rows, you walk between your rows, it's got manure in it, but nothing's planted there. But you maybe get weeds come
Hello?
Yeah. Are you there? Can you hear us, Matt?
I can hear you guys.
But you can't hear Al.
Oh,
No.
that's weird.
Okay. Well, you just hang on for a minute.
But I agree with you, Al. I do see that, but at the same time, if you work it into your soil, it's still breaking down that soil and making the whole garden good. Yeah. So I mean, while you don't want to be walking on it, it's a good idea to move to work it in. But I do see where you're going. But even then, it's still breaking down underneath all that too.
Sure.
So.
Because what I usually do, Rachel, I take my row of tomatoes where it's going to be, and I'll get your manure,
Mhm.
and I'll just get a couple bags, and I just start dumping it down the row where those plants will be.
Yep.
And sometimes I have taken individual holes when I dug for my tomatoes, and then I will put your manure in mixed with my dirt, and then put the tomato in like that. So what is your take? How do you do yours? What's your take?
To be honest with you, I'm the exact same way. I do it. Usually when I am planting, since I'm already digging that hole, I'm going to work some in there. But at the beginning, when I'm just getting the garden ready, I just throw it around and then I just kind of work it in. So
Okay.
they're both right.
All right.
So
Very good.
so thank you.
Great topic. All right.
It was great talking to you.
Thanks,
Yep.
Al.
See ya.
Bye bye.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm a big soil, advocate.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to amend that soil. It's
Matt, are you
It's
there? Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
there. It's no different than cooking. If you
Yep.
start with bad ingredients, you're going to end up with a less savory dish. I mean, you want to
That's a
make
good
sure
point.
that the ingredients that are in the soil, the nutrients that are in the soil, all affect how that plant's going to grow.
Yep. And that's what I always tell people, you're digging that hole anyway. You might as well, go a little bit extra and put some good stuff in there and it'll thank you for it.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Very good idea. All right, Rachel, do you have another one over there?
Well, we could talk about tomato suckers. Those were kind of
Tomato suckers.
The 45, they come off like the 45-degree angle, kind of, off the main branch
Okay.
of the tomatoes. People have always said, you take those off. Do you not take them off? It's kind of a personal opinion, to be
Mhm.
honest. I always leave them on my cherry tomatoes because you are going to get more fruit. But if you take them off, you're going to get bigger fruit. So I
Oh.
usually say it depends on the variety of tomato. So like the older heirloom varieties that are kind of don't produce as heavy, they kind of just come on all at once. I do take those suckers off because
And you'll take them off the lower branches too to
Yes.
prevent any soil-borne disease from coming up
Yep.
onto the
Yeah, that's a
plant
great
with the
point.
water splash and things like that.
yeah, I always kind of take the bottom couple leaves off anyway.
Okay.
And I usually start breaking the suckers off as it starts to grow. But
The
then
suckers.
after a while, yeah, that's the technical term.
Technical term
That is
for
the
them. Yeah.
technical term.
That's great. I
Break
love it.
those suckers off.
Break
them
those
off.
suckers
Yep.
off.
Yeah,
That's
but after
it.
a while, you're like, the plant just grows up, blows up on you. So
Okay.
it kind of depends on the variety.
Whatever you feel like you want.
Yep,
All right.
exactly.
Take our final break right now. Again, if you have any questions, let us know. 330-450-1480. It is Let's Grow Together with Rohr's Nursery and Garden Center.
Hey, when we come back,
Hi, it's Angie Rohr with Rohr's Nursery. Spring feels like it's so far away, but at Rohr's, we're getting ready for it. Why not get an early start on spring yourself and call now to schedule your appointment with one of our experts to brighten up your landscape? Visit us at Rohr's Nursery on Everhard Road, Rohr's Nursery on Portage Street, or rohrsnursery.com.
Rohr's Nursery. We want to be your number one nursery. Rohr's Nursery. We want to be your number one nursery.
At Seniors Helping Seniors of Canton Akron, we match active, caring seniors with older adults who need a helping hand. Whether it's companionship, light housekeeping, rides to appointments, or just a friendly face. If you are searching for truly reliable, compassionate care for yourself or a loved one, call Seniors Helping Seniors Canton Akron at 330-806-8044 or visit CantonAkronSHS.com to learn more.
Are you ready to accelerate towards your dreams with a new car, ATV, boat, or some extra cash for personal needs? This is Tiffany Kim, Banking Center Manager at the Commercial and Savings Bank, here to help you fund your next adventure. Our team of experts is committed to finding the right solution for you with competitive rates, flexible terms, and personalized service. Visit csb1.com to apply online or give us a call at 800-654-9015 to speak with a loan specialist and discover the CSB Advantage. The Commercial and Savings Bank, member FDIC.
Are you a fraud-paying American? 1 in 4 tax-paying Americans have been victim of identity fraud. With LifeLock, your identity, if it's stolen, they fix it guaranteed or your money back. And last year, billions in refunds were stolen. Could be from your salary, overtime, or second job. Gone. But this year, you don't need to stay a victim. Because this tax season, fraud-paying American is something no American should have to claim. Save up to 40% off your first year with the promo code BECK. Visit LifeLock.com. Terms do apply.
Taxes was waiting on the refund you needed yesterday. All right, your car repair is going to run about $3,000. Now Taxes is getting back on the road with TurboTax and Credit Karma, where you can get your refund up to 5 days faster and get personalized guidance to take every dollar further. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Deposit a federal refund into Credit Karma Money account and early submission of refund data by IRS required. Terms apply. Banking services provided by MVB Bank, Inc. Member FDIC. Credit Karma is not a bank.
All right, we are back and we are doing some myth busting, and we're going to go back to the phones. We have Carol in Canton. You are on the air with Rohr's Nursery. Go ahead.
Hello. I don't know that this is actually a myth. It's just that styrofoam, packaging, that you buy something new and it's packed in styrofoam. Is it bad to put that in the bottom of a deep pot where you're going to put flowers that don't have roots that deep?
I don't think so. I think, especially for one season, that kind of thing, because I have heard sometimes the chemicals can break down and maybe add something nasty to the soil. But all in all, we've done that before and we've had great results with that. It is a good idea to kind of maybe put some landscape fabric or something over top of it before you put the soil on, so the soil doesn't all go down into the peanuts. But I personally think it's okay. So
yeah, we do that, especially with the really large planters. Like you
Yeah,
said, the root system isn't going down that deep, so it's a
You don't wanna
non-issue
waste
on
it
that end of things, right?
Yeah.
And it's not as heavy to move.
yeah. Yeah, I think it's fine. You just make sure that there's those ones that break down, with water. So just make sure that's not the kind before you do it.
Okay.
So, but yeah, thank you.
Sure,
Thanks
no
for the
problem.
call. That was a good one.
All right. So we also wanted to kind of bust the myths about organic pesticide versus chemical pesticide, correct?
So yeah, earlier we were talking a little bit, and I kind of knocked organic stuff a little bit. And I do want to say there are some really good organic pesticides out there, like insecticidal soap. It's a really good, and there's nothing I would say that's 100% safe, but it would be on the safer side of the chemical scale, that you can use to control pests and insects that are not caustic chemicals. What do you think? I know, Rachel, you're
especially
up on that.
Yeah, especially like indoor plants, house plants. You can use a mixture of We definitely recommend Ivory soap rather than Dawn. I have used Dawn, but I've burned the leaves a couple times, and it wasn't bad. It didn't hurt my plant, but Dawn's very safe. Or I'm sorry, Ivory is
Ivory.
very safe and gentle,
Mhm.
but it will knock out aphids and mealy bugs. Sometimes it's a little bit tougher on scale. That's why we recommend usually a systemic with that kind of
systemic,
stuff.
yeah.
Scale is a very tough one to get rid of organically because they have that armored. It's a shell basically, so it's systemic takes them out a lot better.
Yeah, scale actually sucks the juice or the sap out of the plant and excretes it on itself. And then that creates that hard sugar shell on the top, and the plant's under that. So a lot of times there you can still use organic, but you would be more of a horticultural oil or a growing oil. And those will, or even a dormant oil, depending on the time of year. But that oil gets underneath there, just like the soap, the oil plugs the breathing pores, and then it eliminates the insect that way.
Okay. All right. What about, and I do this all the time, but what about putting gravel in a container, like when you're planting? Is that a good thing to do or
Yeah,
not?
again, that's kind of a personal thing. It can make it heavy.
Mhm.
And it is a good idea to use like a landscape fabric or something over top of it, just because that way the dirt doesn't just all go down in there, and then
Okay.
you kind of have lost some of the
Right.
volume of it. But
But it helps in
do
drainage?
It does help in drainage. Yes,
Okay.
especially if you have a pot that doesn't have a hole.
Right.
We always recommend doing something like that.
And then using a good soil in those pots is super important.
Yes.
If you don't have good soil in those planters, we actually have our own soil blended for us at Rohr's Nursery. It's made for us, and we've had a ton of people come back year after year say, "Oh my gosh, my stuff looks so good this year." If you're using that soil that we have made for us, we get to control the ingredients that go into that. It's a really good product, and that and some of the slow release fertilizer, and you're setting yourself up for success right from the beginning.
What's the soil called? Like, what do you ask for?
It's just Rohr's Rohr's Nursery potting soil.
Potting soil.
And it
Okay.
is potting soil. That's one thing too. Potting soil goes into a pot. Like
Right.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I've heard people, just dig up garden dirt. No, don't do that because it does compact.
Yeah.
And you're
What
there's-
about, okay, here's another
Yeah.
one I just thought of.
Yeah.
What about using the soil in your pot a second year in a row? Like using it over.
I do it a lot of
Mhm.
the times. I usually do add some fresh and add some of the all season fertilizer in there because there are the nutrients have been depleted.
Right.
But I think
It seems
it's
so
okay.
wasteful
I think
not
it's
to.
okay. I do
Yeah.
it. Yeah. Unless you had an issue with if you use
Growing
tomatoes
it.
or if you had disease, any kind of issues like that,
Right.
diseases or that kind of stuff, then I would not recommend it. But
Okay.
Well, and
I
in
do.
your annual planters, you'll see the root system really most of the time, depending on the plants that are in there,
Yeah.
they don't go down crazy deep. So if you're
Yeah.
trimming all of that soil out on the top and replacing that topsoil with fresh soil, you should be just fine.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Yeah, it
That
is.
is good to
Yeah.
know.
And some people might say, no, don't ever do that. But that it is kind of a personal opinion.
Because, like, I have two big
It's a lot of
planters full in my garage right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, you just work
Right.
that in and
Yeah.
just add a little bit of fresh and some fertilizer
Okay.
and you're good to go.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. That makes me feel good. That helps
Good.
me get started sooner. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I have it already sitting in my garage, and I can add some stuff to it.
Yes. Be
Some
ready
good
to
Rohr's,
go.
some good Rohr's potting soil for sure.
Yeah. So
Rachel's got a few that she's
let's
gonna
see.
throw out there
You know
for
what?
us.
Plants that repel mosquitoes.
Okay.
That's kind of a big thing that people
Yeah.
There really isn't a whole lot.
No.
The oils, it's more the oils in the
Mhm.
plants. So like rosemary, lavender, that kind of stuff. If you break open the leaves and kind of rub it on your skin, that will help a
Mhm.
little bit, but it is really going to only be where you're at. I mean,
What about the citronella geraniums? We get asked a ton
we
about
do.
those.
Yeah.
We do. And a lot of people do swear by it and they do have a good aroma and smell. So but I mean, you have to be really like right on it, or like holding it with you for it to be really repelling.
To be a
So,
repellent. Yeah.
So there's really not a whole lot. Bats are probably the best thing for
Ew.
mosquitoes.
No.
build a bat house.
No
you're gonna-
bats.
No, they're very good. They can eat like thousands of mosquitoes a night. So,
Oh,
Yeah.
but
yeah, and they forced me to live indoors.
I love them. But
Rachel,
yeah, so
Rachel loves them.
I
She
do
loves
love
them.
I do. I always have actually. They've always been one of
Aren't
my
they
fa-
scary looking to you
No, I
though?
love them.
Oh,
they're very beneficial.
She loves
so we
them and
actually
lichen.
we have a bat. Yes, I know. we have a bat house. So,
You
but
do?
we do have a lot of mosquitoes too. Still, so.
Okay, so oh my gosh.
So we do get a lot of questions about that.
Here's a
with
myth: do the bats go right for your hair?
no, only if the mosquitoes are around you, I guess.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
true. I never
so-
thought about that.
Yeah,
Oh my
so,
goodness.
But yeah, so I mean,
Okay.
it's kind of again, some people swear by citronella
Citronella,
geraniums. and
yeah.
I mean, it's not going to hurt. I do love the smell of that.
Yeah,
anyway,
me too.
so,
Me too.
They're great.
Yeah, it's not going to hurt, but it's definitely not a proven.
It's not.
thing.
Yeah, it's not a surefire thing.
Matt, you
so.
have
I
any
like
other
bats.
ones?
I like
I like
I've
bats.
had 'em- I've had them attack me in my tree stand before.
Oh my god!
See?
And the reason is, and it took me a minute to figure it out when I was sitting there after the fact. My ball cap, my baseball cap that I had on, has these tiny little vent holes at the top, and it looked like a swarm of insects to that bat. And it flew and it hit me in the back of the head, and I was like, "Whoa, what in the heck?" And he dive bombed me again, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" Once I took my hat off, never a problem.
Wow.
Wow.
So sometimes they're just doing what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
They think they're going after food, and so a
You
ball
were-
cap with
you were
tiny
brave.
holes, vent holes in the top.
Yeah, you were
Could-
brave
could-
to
could
take
be
your
a-
hat off. You know
Especially
that.
at a tree
Because
I
who
put my
knows?
hood on.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, that makes sense. Very good. Very good. I was going to say, oh boy, see, that scares me, but I guess that's the way it goes, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, we had a lot of good stuff here today.
Yeah.
This was fun. If we come up with some more, we'll do it again for sure.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
sure people out there, we got them thinking. So hopefully, if you have anything, maybe next week we'll talk more about it. But Matt, go ahead and give us our phone numbers, locations, all that good stuff.
Yeah, we have two Roars Nursery locations, 5357 Everhard Road in Canton. The guys are making appointments to come out and help set up all your landscaping for next year. And our other location is 7211 Portage Street in Massillon.
All right, guys. Well, we will see you next week.
Yes. Talk to you then.
See you then.
Hi, it's Angie Rohr with Rohr's Nursery. Spring feels like it's so far away, but at Rohr's, we're getting ready for it. Why not get an early start on spring yourself and call now to schedule your appointment with one of our experts to brighten up your landscape? Visit us at Rohr's Nursery on Everhard Road, Rohr's Nursery on Portage Street, or rohrsnursery.com.
Roar's Nursery. We want to be your number one nursery. Roar's Nursery.